We're going to cover many topics here in this button clicking fun program. The idea is that every time you click a blue, green, or red button, we're going to show how many times the button has been clicked, any button has been clicked, and the total number of points you scored. So clicking on blue, we should see the number of clicks increase down there and the total points increase by 5. When we click on green button, the number of clicks should also increase and the total points should increase. On the red one, the points will decrease. The first thing we're going to check out is word wrap. When we were working on this program, we noticed that some of these lines really started going far off to the right. So we're going to turn on word wrap. We're also going to look at things we can do with a message box beyond what we've learned, global variables, a new concept, and counters and running variables. We're going to go up to tools and then options. And in all these options, we need to find text editor. Click the drop-down triangle there and then go to basic and click its drop-down triangle and go to general. And we're going to select word wrap. If you want to see line numbers, that's an option down there as well. You can do that. And we'll show the visual glyphs for word wrap as well. When it happens, you'll know it. You'll see a little curved arrow on the right-hand side. As we work on this message box idea, we're going to need the word wrap because we're going to go pretty far off the screen. So far, we've learned about message boxes, and we've just shown a message inside the message box with MessageBox.show. So for example, when a user clicks on the blue button, we could tell them, you clicked on the blue button. And all you see is that text inside the message box. Nothing in the caption area, no icons. But we can put those things in. So the next argument, that's what we would call this as an argument, we can put some text and in quotation marks to be the caption, to go here with the version of Windows we're using in that little blue strip on the top. So I'll put blue message there, and now when we check out the message box, you'll see the message and a caption at the top. There's the caption, blue message. Right now we're good with the OK buttons, but we have other options besides OK. So our next argument is going to be message box buttons. Dot, and then here are many of our selections: abort, retry, ignore, OK, OK, cancel. Here's yes, no, cancel. Maybe you've run into this in some programs that you've run. There they are. We're not ready to handle those things yet, so we're going to be okay with just using OK. We'll put another comma, and then the fourth thing we could put into a message box for right now is an icon. We'll go to message box icon dot, and we'll see a lot of choices available to us, although some of them really repeat. Let's take a look at what information looks like. We get the little information symbol there. I believe asterisk will also give you that same symbol. Let's take a look at exclamation. That's going to give us a triangle with an exclamation point. Warning, I believe, gives us that same icon. Another potential icon that we could use in a message box. Error. There's that red X. I believe hand does the same thing. I think stop also gives you that red X. Here's question, and we get a question mark. Another possibility is to explicitly say none, and there will be no icon. So those are all possibilities for us with message boxes. So we can put a little more in there than what you've done before. We'll leave it with information for right now. You'll recall the goal in this program was to keep track of the number of clicks and the number of points that have been scored. All the subs are going to need to have access to those variables. We're going to need to keep track of those in variables. So we're going to make them global variables. We'll declare them here underneath public class form 1, not inside any of the subs. And then every sub will have access to exactly the same variable in exactly the same place in memory. So I'll say dim, these are going to be integers, both of them. So we'll do int num clicks as integer, and that's going to represent how many times users have clicked on those colored buttons to score points. Then we'll also have int total points. That will keep track of all the points that we have scored along the way or lost along the way. Int num clicks, I'll call that a counter. It's going to go up by 1 every time. Every time that a user clicks on one of those colored points buttons. And then int total points will go up or down depending on how many points a button is worth, and it will be a running total. It will always have the exact number of points that the user currently has. Let's look at how we can update the counter then. Again, this is a global variable, so we don't need to declare it inside the sub. All the subs already have access to it. We want to increase this variable by 1 every time. Here's one way it can be accomplished, and there's nothing wrong with doing it this way. Int numClicks equals int numClicks plus 1. If you look at this as an algebra student, it makes no sense at all. How in the world could a number equal itself plus 1? But it's not an equation. This is an assignment statement. We always take the right-hand side and assign it to the left. So it's perfectly okay to use. Take the right side, take care of it first, and assign it to the left. So if int numClicks is 4 right now, well, 4 plus 1 is 5, and we'll take that 5 and assign it to int numClicks, and it is now 5. We want to display this answer too, so we can see it. We have that text box already. Excuse me, that label is all ready. And here's how it looks. There's our message box, and the number of clicks has gone up by 1. Now it's up to 2, it's up to 3, it's up to 4, it's up to 5. It keeps going up. We want this same action to happen in the other two buttons as well. But before we get there, there's actually a shortcut for this. Another way we can write this is int numClicks plus equals 1. The plus comes before the equals sign. And that means to add 1 to what was already inside int numClicks. It means the same thing as what we wrote before. Most programmers will use this, what we have here now. It's a shorter way to write it. Plus equals 1 means to take that variable and increase it by 1. You'll notice the program runs exactly the same as it did before. We'll use the same strategy inside the green points scoring button and also inside the red points scoring button. Int numClicks plus equals 1. If you mess up and say equals plus 1, then you're telling the computer that we want to set it equal to positive 1, which is different than plus equals 1. Take the value that's already in the variable and increase it by 1. Great for a counter. And you'll notice it works for all the buttons. And they all access the exact same variable, so the same variable keeps going up by 1 and keeps getting displayed inside the label. Now let's deal with the points that are being scored. We want to keep a running total of those points. When we click on the blue button, our point total should increase by 5. What do you think we should do? Plus equals 5. Int total points plus equals 5. That will increase the value of total points by 5. Take what was already there and add 5 to it. We'll display that inside LBL numPoints.txt. For the green button, it increases by 1. The red button, we lose points. What do you think we'll do for that? We'll use minus equals. So minus equals 2. And that will subtract 2 from what was already inside the variable. We'll use copy and paste to quickly add this same line of code we need to display the answer. And you'll see the button clips keep going up, and our total points go up or down if it's the red button, as you would expect. This is a great place for you to pause this video and you add 3 more buttons. Decide if you want the points to go up or down, and write some similar code using plus equals or minus equals as is appropriate, and also remember to keep track of the number of clicks. But now though, we're going to check out the clear event. What kind of things need to be reset when we clear? We've got to reset the labels. We've done that before. We're also going to need to reset the variables. We'll get to that in a moment. So LBL numClicks.text will equal 0. And LBL numPoints.text will equal 0. But we've also got to reset the variables. Our 2 total variables, our counter and our running total, need to both be reset to 0. We'll check out what happens if we forget to do that in a moment. We could also send the focus somewhere. It may not be so obvious where to send it. Users are not likely to want to click twice on the clear button, so I guess as good a place as any is the top left blue button. So we'll put the focus on that first button. Maybe not as crucial as it has been in other programs, but again, it wouldn't make sense that users would want to click twice on the clear button. So here it is in action. When we clear it out, the variables reset and they start from scratch. If we forget to reset the variables, I'll put an apostrophe in front of both of these so that it's not seen by Visual Basic. We'll score some points and get some clicks here and clear out. They're back to 0 on the labels, but not on the variables. So right away we pick up just where we left off because we've got to reset the variables. Now this works as you would expect. It's a total reset of the clicks and the points. You could also reset the variables first. That would not be a problem. So if I move the resetting of the variables ahead of resetting the labels, and we'll get rid of it down there. At this point, we could actually get rid of the zeros and put the variable names there because the variables will equal 0. That might be considered to look a little cleaner from a programming perspective. Same effect. It works the way we expect when we clear. It totally resets the action.